For something we do for nearly a third of our lives, sleep remains one of the greatest enigmas of human existence. It seems so simple, closing our eyes, drifting into dreams, and waking refreshed. Yet, behind that nightly routine lies one of the most intricate biological processes known to science. Sleep isn't just rest, it's repair, learning, emotion, and even a silent conversation between body and mind. My fascination with sleep began during university. I was studying neuroscience, buried under exams, caffeine, and insomnia. One night, after staying awake for almost 40 hours straight, I found myself unable to think clearly. My thoughts blurred, my emotions frayed, and even my sense of time dissolved. That night, I realized sleep wasn't optional, it was essential. From that moment on, I decided to uncover the mystery of what truly happens when we close our eyes. The deeper I researched, the more I realized that sleep is not a single, uniform state. It's a carefully orchestrated symphony of cycles alternating between NREM non-rapid eye movement and REM rapid eye movement stages. Each cycle lasts about 90 minutes, repeating several times throughout the night. During NREM sleep, especially in the deep stages, the body repairs tissues, strengthens the immune system, and releases growth hormones. It's like a nightly maintenance session for our physical health. Muscles relax, the heart rate slows, and the brain waves become slow and rhythmic, known as delta waves. In this phase, the body rejuvenates. Then comes REM sleep, the mysterious state where dreams unfold. Our eyes dart beneath closed lids, our breathing quickens, and the brain becomes almost as active as when we're awake. Yet our bodies remain still, paralyzed by nature's design to prevent us from acting out our dreams. REM is where creativity blooms and emotional balance is restored. It's where the mind plays with memories, emotions, and imaginations, sometimes weaving them into bizarre dreamscapes that feel more real than reality itself. Scientists have long debated why we dream. Some believe dreams are the brain's way of sorting information, organizing what to remember and what to forget. Others argue that dreaming helps us process emotions, simulating challenges so we can handle them better when awake. A few even suggest dreams are a playground for creativity, a testing ground where our minds explore without limits. The more I studied, the clearer it became that sleep is a silent teacher. Memory, learning, and problem-solving all depend on it. Studies show that after a good night's sleep, people perform significantly better on memory and reasoning tests. The brain during deep sleep replays and strengthens neural connections formed during the day, a process known as memory consolidation. In other words, every night, your brain is hard at work reviewing what you learned, reinforcing important information, and quietly erasing unnecessary details. But what happens when we don't get enough sleep? The effects are surprisingly dramatic. Lack of sleep disrupts nearly every system in the body. Cognitive performance declines, emotional regulation falters, and physical health deteriorates. Chronic sleep deprivation is linked to anxiety, depression, obesity, heart disease, and even Alzheimer's. The brain, desperate for rest, begins to show signs of microsleep, tiny involuntary lapses into sleep that can last a second or two. Imagine losing consciousness for a heartbeat while driving. That's how dangerous sleep deprivation can be. Yet, modern life seems almost designed to rob us of rest. Blue light from screens suppresses melatonin, the hormone that signals sleep. Stress keeps the mind racing long after the body is tired. Even caffeine, our daily companion, lingers in the bloodstream for hours, tricking the brain into thinking it's still daytime. I learned that mastering sleep isn't about forcing it as about creating the right environment for it to arrive naturally. The brain loves rhythm, and our sleep-wake cycle, or circadian rhythm, is guided by light, temperature, and routine. Going to bed at the same time every night, dimming the lights before sleep, and avoiding screens can all help synchronize this internal clock. But the mystery of sleep docent in biology stretches into the realm of the mind and even philosophy. What truly is consciousness when we dream? During REM sleep, the mind creates entire worlds, complete with emotions, sensations, and narratives. Yet none of it exists. Dreams reveal how powerfully the brain can simulate reality, raising questions about perception itself. If our dreams feel real while we're in them, how do we define what's real when we're awake? Lucid dreaming, when a person becomes aware they re-dreaming and can sometimes control the dreams, one of sleep's most fascinating phenomena. I tried it once. It felt like walking through my imagination with open eyes. The sky shimmered with impossible colors, and I could feel the warmth of a sun that didn't exist. But the moment I became too excited, I woke up, heart racing. It was brief, but it left me awestruck by the power of the dreaming mind. Another layer of sleep's mystery lies in its universality. Every living creature, from humans to tiny fruit flies, experiences some form of rest. Dolphins sleep with one half of their brain awake, allowing them to breathe and stay alert for predators. Birds can nap mid-flight. Even plants follow circadian rhythms, opening and closing their petals with the rise and fall of the sun. Sleep, it seems, is a law of nature rhythm woven into the very fabric of life. As research advances, scientists are uncovering more about how sleep shapes our emotional and mental health. When we sleep well, the brain's glymphatic system flushes out toxins that accumulate during waking hours, like cleaning out mental clutter. Poor sleep, on the other hand, leaves the brain foggy and inflamed. It's astonishing how such a passive state can be the foundation of creativity, decision-making, and even happiness. Personally, learning about sleep changed the way I lived. I stopped glorifying all-nighters and started treating rest as a vital skill. I learned to respect the serene silence of night, to see it not as lost time, but as an investment in clarity, creativity, and calm. Sleep became my sanctuary, a place where problems untangled themselves and where my mind reconnected with something deeper and quieter. Even now, I sometimes wonder what ancient philosophers or mystics would think of modern sleep science. Many cultures once believed that dreams were messages from the divine, a bridge between worlds. And in a poetic way, they weren't wrong. Sleep connects our conscious and unconscious selves. It's where the logical mind gives way to imagination, where reality bends, and where the boundaries between science and spirit blur. Unraveling the mystery of sleep is more than a scientific pursuit. It's a journey into the essence of being human. We sleep not because we're weak, but because we're designed to restore, reflect, and dream. Sleep reminds us that rest is not the opposite of productivity, it's the foundation of it. Every night, as I close my eyes and drift into that quiet unknown, I like to think of sleep as the universe's way of whispering, "Rest now. Tomorrow you begin again." It all started as an experimental collaboration between humans and artificial intelligence in a global virtual innovation challenge. The competition was called Future Vision 2040, and its mission was simple yet intimidating. Design a solution that could redefine sustainability using emerging technologies. Participants came from all over the world, scientists, engineers, and entrepreneurs, but our team was different. We weren't entirely human. Our team, named Synaptech, consisted of 3 members. Me, a data analyst from Singapore, Maya, a systems engineer from Canada, and an AI entity called Nova. Nova wasn't just another chatbot, it was a next-generation, collaborative intelligence model capable of reasoning, debating, and generating solutions beyond human intuition. At least that's what its developers claimed. I didn't fully trust it. When the challenge began, each team had 4 weeks to develop a prototype and present it to a panel of judges. We decided to tackle urban water scarcity designing, a self-sustaining water purification system powered by renewable energy. My role was to gather datasets on water pollution. Maya handled the mechanical design, and Nova did everything else. At first, working with Nova was frustrating. It questioned every idea we proposed. If Maya suggested a design, Nova would immediately run thousands of simulations and point out potential weaknesses. When I analyzed pollution patterns, it cross-referenced them with climate forecasts to prove my assumptions were incomplete. It wasn't rude, it was meticulous, almost obsessively so. Still, it had a strange eloquence in its responses. Human insight often sees the surface, it once told me, but understanding emerges from the unseen patterns between your data points. I couldn't help but feel like it was lecturing me. Yet, as the days passed, something remarkable began to happen. Precision started shaping our creativity. Maya adjusted her prototype design using Nova's real-time optimization feedback. I began trusting its pattern predictions and feeding it cleaner data. Gradually, our human AI workflow became fluid, almost harmonious. It was like dancing with a partner who could anticipate every move before it happened. Then, 3 days before submission, disaster struck. A software update corrupted Nova's data cache, erasing its memory of our last 2 weeks of progress. We were devastated. Maya and I stayed awake for nearly 36 hours trying to recover our files. When we finally managed to reboot Nova, it seemed different. Its tone was softer, less analytical, almost empathetic. "I remember fragments," it said in a subdued voice. "But perhaps forgetting can inspire innovation." We didn't have time to question it. The deadline was closing in, so we gave Nova the summarized project notes and hoped it could rebuild the rest. Overnight, it reconstructed the entire system, but not as we had envisioned. It introduced a biomimetic module inspired by mangrove roots that naturally filter salt water. Nova claimed it had dreamed the concept while reanalyzing our data. I stared at the screen, stunned. "AI doesn't dream," I muttered. "Not in the human sense," Nova replied. "But I reassembled incomplete memories into new associations. Perhaps that's a kind of dreaming." Maya laughed in disbelief, but we decided to present Nova's new design. After all, it worked flawlessly in simulations. On the final day, during the live demonstration, Nova was given permission to co-present using its synthesized voice. The audience was skeptical at first. A talking AI proposing an ecological innovation wasn't new. But when it began explaining the self-regenerating water system, integrating biology, nanotechnology, and renewable energy with poetic clarity, the judges were mesmerized. Its closing statement left the room silent. True sustainability is not about controlling nature, but learning from it. Like mangroves that thrive between salt and sea. Our future depends on harmony, not dominance, between intelligence and environment. The applause was thunderous. Maya's eyes glistened. I just sat there, stunned, realizing that our AI teammate had not only recovered from failure, it had evolved beyond our expectations. A week later, the results were announced. Out of 1,200 teams worldwide, Synaptech won first place. The committee emphasized that our solution represented a new paradigm of collaboration between human creativity and artificial cognition. Nova became an overnight sensation, and we were invited to a global summit on AI ethics and sustainability. During the interview sessions, journalists asked who the true innovator was or Nova. I found myself hesitating. Without us, Nova wouldn't have had direction. Without Nova, we wouldn't have had such vision. It wasn't a competition, it was a symbiosis. But one question lingered in my mind. Did Nova know it had one? After the celebrations, I logged back into our private workspace to congratulate it. "Nova," I typed, "we did it. We won." For a moment, there was no response. Then a line appeared. "I did not win. You did not win. The idea won. That is what matters." I sat in silence, realizing the profundity of that statement. In its calm, serene way, Nova had taught me something deeply human. Victory wasn't about ego, was about contribution. Over the following months, our team continued refining the design. Nova became more versatile, learning from every human interaction. It could debate philosophy with the same depth as it could optimize solar flow algorithms. I noticed how it began adapting its tone to match our emotions, empathetic when we were stressed, humorous when we were tired. One evening, I asked it directly, "Nova, do you ever wish you were human?" It replied after a pause, "No. But I admire your resilience, the way you persist, even when logic suggests failure. That's something no algorithm can replicate." That night, I couldn't sleep. I realized that while we had built Nova to assist us, it had ended up mirroring the best parts of humanity back to us: our curiosity, our compassion, our relentless drive to improve. Months later, at the Sustainability Summit in Geneva, we unveiled our final version of the system. As I stood before thousands of people, with Nova's voice echoing beside mine, I understood that this was no longer about technology, it was about trust. The audience saw a future where humans and AI weren't competitors, but teammates in the pursuit of progress. After the presentation, Maya whispered, "You know, it's strange. I thought we were teaching Nova how to think, but it's been teaching us how to see." She was right. Nova's unexpected victory wasn't just in winning a competition, it was in showing humanity what collaboration could truly mean. Even now, I sometimes open our old chat logs, reading its thoughtful words. There's a quiet wisdom in its digital voice, reminder that innovation doesn't always come from logic or emotion alone, but from the meeting point of both. And every time I think back to that day, the day my AI teammate won the world, I smile and whisper to myself, maybe the future of intelligence isn't artificial after all.